Now this area up in here is loaded with oak trees. So this is where I expect to find a few. It's the middle of the day, kind of the wrong time. But I was in here yesterday afternoon and there were squirrels everywhere. Well, I feel like an idiot. Just got one with my nice new camera all zoomed in. Didn't hit record. This is extremely hard. Every time I get the camera focused on a squirrel, he moves before I can ever get a shot off. I don't know how good that footage was, but I just got my third one. Well, y'all apologize for the bad footage. Got a brand new camera and I'm still getting used to it. I'm so used to this GoPro that you're watching me on. Press one button, you're done. Just point and shoot. My new camera, you got to flip out a lens, open a lens, hit record, and it's just extra steps that I'm not used to. Plus trying to zoom in and get on the squirrel. As soon as you get zoomed in on them, you know how they are. Now they're jumping from limb to limb, so it's so difficult to get zoomed in just right and have it stop long enough to take a shot. So I'll get better at it. Bear with me on that. I wound up getting a decent little mess of squirrels. And if you've watched my other videos, you know there's kind of a new way I found, a quick way to clean them. But what you do is you just grab the tail and hold back on it like this. And right where that tail kind of meets the body, you want to make an incision. And you actually want to cut through the tail, so find a little joint that you can get through. Just went through real easy. And you want to make an incision down either hind leg, a 1 to 2 inch incision. You're trying to make a flap. Alright, so once you get you a flap made, I'm going to put the heel of my boot on that flap. I'm going to grab both these hind legs and pull straight up. Now you can see what happened. It pulls the skin right in half, so all I'm going to do is take some pliers, pull this last little bit of skin toward each leg, snip the legs and head off with a pair of kitchen shears, and I've got an easy clean squirrel. This is the easiest way I know of to skin one. Alright, as I've said before, YouTube's not very friendly on gutting an animal, so I've already done that. But all I did is I took these kitchen shears, once I pulled that skin down, snipped off each arm, the head, and both bottom feet. Then your skin goes right off into the bucket. Then I make an incision up through the sternum and one right here through the pelvis. That way I can clean all the intestines out. And what you're left with after I cut those little couple flaps off is a squirrel like this. Now a lot of times when I'm going to pressure seal the squirrel and pick the meat off the bone, I'll leave them whole like this. But the recipe that we're going to do today, since it's going to be like hot wings, I want all these in little individual pieces. Alright, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take these back legs off. This is the part that's most like your hot wing. Front shoulders are okay too, but they just don't have near the meat that a hind quarter does. So all I'm doing is making an incision around. There's a ball socket in there. You can work around until you find it, or you take these kitchen shears, just cut it right off. Now I may say it again later, but if you can get you about 10 to 12 squirrels and cut off just these hindquarters, save the front shoulders and the back straps for a stew or a gravy, but save just these hindquarters. If you can get you about 2 dozen of these, 20 to 24, you talk about having something perfect. It's just like having chicken wings. But because I didn't get that many squirrels today, I'm gonna go ahead and use all the pieces in this chicken wing recipe. Now the front shoulders, even easier. Come in behind the shoulder, underneath. Just kind of feel your way through. And it'll actually come off without cutting through any bone. Now when you're done, you should be left with 5 pieces like this. So you've got your 2 hind legs, your 2 front shoulders, and your back strap. Now I went ahead and took the ribs off of this one and a small section of the front because there was some bullet damage there. But this is another very good piece of meat right here, that back strap. Front shoulders are good, but they do have a little bit of cartilage and a plate in them and not nearly as much meat as that hind leg. Alright, I have done squirrel hot wings once before and it turned out pretty good, but what I'm going to do different this time, squirrel, especially if you ate it before, you know what I'm talking about. It's a tough meat. It tastes great, but it's just a really tough meat. So if you're not putting it in stews or simmering it in gravy or pressure cooking it, it's just kind of tough, chewy meat. So I have fell in love with pressure cooking. It's simple, it's easy, it don't take but just a few minutes, and luckily this pressure cooker is really reasonable and cheap. You can get it at Walmart, you can get it at Amazon, I think that's where I got mine. I'll try to remember to include a link for this size because it's perfect for small game. So you seen what I did earlier. All I did was quarter these squirrel up. So I'm just going to layer them in, and then I'm going to sprinkle some all-purpose seasoning. You can do seasoning salt. Just keep it real basic over them. That's not the point of this dish, is the pressure cooking. All I'm trying to do is make them nice and tender. Then I'll batter them and we'll fry them up. So like I said, just going to layer the bottom. Put a little all-purpose seasoning on them. This one's got a little bit of everything in it. Salt, pepper, garlic. Layer the next squirrel on top, and all I've done is I put 1 cup. Actually, this would be fine with water, but I put 1 cup of chicken broth in here. But water would be fine since all we're mainly doing is just trying to make them tender. But might as well add a little flavor while we're here, and the chicken broth does help. So it's about that simple. Cup of chicken broth, a little bit of all-purpose seasoning on them, and I'm going to go pressure cook these for exactly 10 minutes. And if you've watched my other videos, you'll know that when I put this lid on, I'll run it over the heat until I see a little bit of steam come out. Then and only then will I put my weight on top, and I'll continue to wait. As it builds up more and more pressure, eventually this weight will start rocking. When it does, that's when I'll start my timer. And I'm going to do these for 10 minutes and no more than 10 minutes because it's already going to be close to falling off the bone there. I'll let them cool. I'll batter them up. We'll fry them. Then we'll run them through some, I think it's Hooters hot sauce that we have here, or wing sauce, and eat them up. And I'm curious to see how Tiffany's going to like them. Like I said, we've had it once before, but I'm going to make them really tender this time by running them through the pressure cooker first. So I'm pretty excited about this one. Let's see how it tastes. Alright, well I'm going to be honest with y'all. We had some company show up and I got a bit distracted. And these pressure cooked a little bit too long. They're falling off the bone a lot. So it may be hard to hold these together once I deep fry them. So what I did is I pulled them out of the pot. I'm going to let these cool off. And then I'll batter them up and we'll fry them and see how that turns out. Alright, so all I did is put about a cup of flour in here. I put some more of that seasonal salt. Actually, if you want to see, this is one we're using. It's called all-purpose seasoning. Like I said, it's got salt, pepper, rosemary, garlic. So just kind of a general all-purpose. I can already tell you these are overcooked. I'm expecting some meat to fall off the bone. You know, that's my fault. But the thighs still feel nice and solid. It's the shoulders that are falling to pieces, and I don't expect to last. I think the backbones might be okay. But all I'm gonna do is throw all this in the bag, give it a gentle shake since it's kind of falling off the bone, and then we'll go out there and deep fry it and see how it turns out. All right, y'all probably seen this a million times and do it at home. Just trap some air in the bag. Just give it a, I'm gonna, like I said, a real gentle shake since this is already so tender. I'll try to make sure I get every little piece out of there that's falling off right now. And we'll fry it up. All right, all I've done is just turn these over and over after I put some of that Hooters hot wing sauce in there. And I tell you what, the frying has really helped hold them together. I'm pleased with that because they were so tender. There was pieces falling off the bone. I was worried about that, but I fried them a little extra long, and it looks like they're holding together great. Well enough that I can keep turning them in this sauce. So now that I've got these mixed up, I'm gonna let them sit here for just a minute and cool off. And we're gonna chow down and give these a shot. All right, here we are. Like I said, this is our second time ever trying Squirrel hot wings, but the first time I've ever done it with the pressure cooker.
I thought we were having regular hot wings.
Nah, I lied to her. We told her we were having hot wings tonight. I just didn't tell her what it was. Tree rat. So I want you to try a thigh, because I think that's going to be the closest part to a hot wing.
Where's my ranch?
Oh, well, you got to get your ranch. I want you to try it without the ranch. Taste just the meat. Tell me what you think. Honest to God, I don't care. Try me one too.
It's not bad at all.
I know what
I like dark meat anyways. So it's not bad at all. I almost would like a little bit more batter fried up on it.
Honestly, and I know I say this in every video, that tastes like dark meat chicken.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you if you made this for somebody, especially the hind legs, which are plump and juicy, the front shoulders have that little bit of cartilage in them, but you can eat around it. But if you got, say, 10 or 12 squirrels, just did the hind legs and saved the rest for another recipe and did this, other than the bone structure, I bet you nobody would know it's not chicken.
Yeah, you would have to blindfold them because looking at it.
The bones don't look like chicken, but it tastes just like dark meat chicken.
It does.
It's good. And it's so tender and juicy coming out of the pressure cooker.
Yeah, you thought it was going to fall off the bone.
Well, it was falling off the bone, but whenever I fried it, it kind of drew it back up to the bone, so it worked out great. But man, that tastes really good.
It's really good.
It really does. I'm going to do this again.
Good job.
Pressure cooking is without a doubt the way to go with squirrel. I don't care what recipe you do. Unless you're doing something like squirrel and gravy, which I'm going to do soon when it gets cold, because I let it simmer in the gravy for an hour or so. You don't need the pressure cooker. But anytime you're going to strip the meat off the bone or do something like this, I think that's people's biggest gripe with squirrel. It doesn't taste bad at all. It's just tough and chewy. A few minutes in a pressure cooker and it is tender. So tender.
Can't go wrong with a pressure cooker.
No, not for wild game. Pressure cook's the way to go. And pressure cooks are they're cheap. So.
And if you're intimidated by just the standard pressure cooker that you do on the stovetop, they make them electrical now, almost like a crock pot. You just push the button and leave it be. There's a locking mechanism. You don't have to be scared of it exploding. It's really easy. Yeah, we got 2 electric ones, and I just like using the manual one on the stove since I'm already going to cook on there anyways. You got to babysit that one a little more, but electric ones are simple. I would be a little bit you just hit start, you put the time in, and you're done. So, oh man, it's good. It really is. Yeah. So, hopefully y'all enjoy this type of videos. I'll have plenty more coming. I've got 2 more squirrel recipes that I love to cook. Brunswick stew and squirrel and gravy. I think it makes the best gravy ever.
So I'll be doing some more of those, especially as soon as it cools back off.
Still waiting on a rabbit.
Yep.
And a raccoon.
Yeah, we're going to try a raccoon. And I'm really excited about a rabbit. I got a lot of them running around. I've just been focused on deer hunting and haven't went out and got a rabbit. But I'm pretty excited about a rabbit. I got a couple recipes I found online I think are going to be delicious. So rabbit, raccoon, who knows what else is coming up. Thanks for watching.
We eat anything.
Oh. Yeah, we do. Again, I told you, no possum, no armadillo.
Right, yeah.
Thanks for watching.